In deep space, the crew of the commercial starship Nostromo is awakened from their cryo-sleep capsules halfway through their journey home to investigate a distress call from an alien vessel. Terror begins when the crew encounters a nest of eggs inside the alien spaceship. An organism from inside an egg leaps out and attaches itself to one of the crew, causing him to fall into coma. This is the Scare Tapes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Scare Tapes. I am so excited to do this this show because I have always wanted to do a show, first of all, just by myself, and second of all, just a show where I can talk about my favorite horror movies. I am somebody who loves to watch horror movies, and I love just like learning all things about horror. So having the chance to do this show is really cool and awesome. So yeah, welcome one and all to the spin-off of the Frightening Alarming Real Life Tale Show. If you don't know that already by now, why are you watching me? The Frightening Alarming Real Life Tale Show is a podcast hosted by me and Ninya, where we talk about real life scary stories. And we also have a spin-off show called Behind You, where we talk about, we don't really talk about stories per se. Me and Ade, another best friend of mine, we compete to tell you the scariest stories that we could think about. Hello, Cayenne. Welcome to the stream. I did not expect for that to be very loud, but hello, welcome. So how will this show work? We will talk about a movie. So basically, if you are not, if you don't like spoilers, this is your content warning. We will be talking about spoilers about the certain movie that we're going to talk about. In horror movies, there's typically, it's typically split into two parts. So the first part is where we run away from the fear. So throughout the whole film, it will just delve into running away from horror, like trying to get away from it. And then the second part is when you actually have to confront that horror. So this is how we will run the show. The show will be split into two parts, where I think would be the part A, and then where I think would be the part B would be the second part of the show. So, what is this movie that we are going to watch today? I don't know if you've seen this, but this is the movie we're going to be watching. I shouldn't have put this here because it ruined the whole thing where I was going to do like a reveal and all that stuff. But let's watch this. This is the movie that we chose today. It's Alien, 1979. Why is this the movie that we're choosing today? Because, okay, so this is a very long, um, uh, not convoluted, but like it's a long story. But to make it short, this Alien Isolation was the very first game that I played on stream, and yeah, ever since then, I have been in love with Alien and the lore. Also, uh, the movie series just is really, really good. Um, yeah, so I feel like it would be a good opportunity to make this the first thing we are going to um, uh, talk about, because it was also the first game that I played on stream. And since we're doing this show on stream, I feel like it's just a really, really good, like, just a really, really good callback reference. I don't know the term, but yeah, that I feel like that is a good part to, like, oh, a connection. Yeah, it's a good connection. So, despite me loving the series, I've only actually ever watched the film like last year. It was when I went to I think it was Manila with Tirso. I watched the film on the airport, and at first I actually watched the second film. So I watched what's it called? Aliens, which was the second film of the movie franchise. And then I was like, oh, wait, this is wrong. I ended up watching the second movie. So I quickly got the first movie and then I watched that. And let me tell you, it was very, very good. I loved everything about it. And we are going to talk about it in detail starting now. So the movie starts. The movie starts where people are waking up from a deep sleep. So, I have to say, the set is very beautiful. Like, take a look at this set. Look at that. So here, in the first, this is actually two pictures. So at the top photo, it's like their dining area, and then just the aesthetic of it and the set design is really, really cool and really, really awesome. Um, the bottom part is a hallway. I just love how futuristic it looks. So, um, at the same time, it does look futuristic, but at the same time, it also, there's a certain nostalgia to it. It could be because of the screens that you see. Like, for example, up there, you kind of see like the TV screens. That's really cool, and but that looks really old. That looks like those old monitors for your computer. So another one is this one. So this is another part of the set. So during the first part of the movie, they were actually showing like the set. So here we have, I think this is the flight deck. So where you control your ship. You've got your helmets here, and then you've got this one little helmet with like the holographic stuff, which, by the way, we don't have that yet, even now. So when are we gonna get this thing? I need my Google glasses. So another one is this hallway, right? So you've got this hallway over here. It looks very bubbly. It looks very soft. But it's probably metal. And the light, the way that they put the lights was actually really cool. So here at the bottom, you have the capsules, the ice capsules, where the crew of the Nostromo um like sleep or hibernate during like space travel. so that they can space travel. I don't know why you have to do that, but I guess like that like sure, why not? So they were hibernating, and then all of a sudden it opens, and they're like, "Oh, we're awake." So just the whole set looks really really awesome, looks really really cool, and I am in love with it. They have the same aesthetic. They're using the same aesthetic in Alien Isolation, and that's because it's very much uh, like it's very much inspired because they wanted to keep true to the original film. So, yeah, it's really cool. Which brings me to my first question um of this episode, because you know what, I believe in audience participation, so we're gonna have you guys answer some questions. Not necessarily I want you to answer, but if you can, that'll be awesome. So our first question is, what does the future look like for you? Because for me, I imagined that the future would um like like I thought, like, honestly, I thought we would have flying cars by now. I don't know if you've seen I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future, but they had flying cars, they had hoverboards, um and I just want my future to look like that. Like, honestly, I don't care about like cool cars. I just want it to fly, and I want a hoverboard because I will totally learn how to use a hoverboard. I want one. So, I'm sure some of you are thinking probably, hey, the future is minimalist or bright. Um, but here, here, the future is dark. The future is a lot. It's filled with things, and it's dark. So these people we are about to meet are space truckers. So basically, this film is like a space trucker movie. Um, the reason why it was made like as like space truckers. So basically, their job is to just like carry um like cargo and then move it from one place to the other. That's basically their job. They uh our characters, our sets of heroes for this film feel very relatable because they're literally just like, oh, hey, we're working class people and we want to just like get this job done. We want money. So part of how the horror of this movie, the terrifying things about this movie works is the way that they make the characters very relatable. So who are these characters? Who are these characters? So first is we have Ellen Ripley. I think I spelt her name wrong. Her name is spelt with double L's. Oh my god, not me having mistakes. I double checked this and then I was like, oh my god. As soon as her screen came up, I was like, ugh, I got it wrong. It's two L's. God, that deserves a fart. Honestly, that deserves a fart. Actually, that deserves two farts. So we have Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, who is really, really good at acting. I watched this movie twice, and she's really, really good. Next is we have Ash. So Ash is the science officer of the ship. So he does the science shit. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, he does the science stuff. Next is we have uh oh sorry. Um Ash is played by Ian Holm, by the way. So just so you know, Ian Holm. Holm? Home. Holm. That's who plays Ash. Next is we have Joan Lambert, who is played by Veronica Cartwright. She is also really good. Her acting here is also really good. So she is. I think she's an like a navigation person, or I know she's part of the crew. So I don't know if she's an engineer because Ripley is an engineer. I don't know what she does, but she's part of the crew. Next is we have Samuel Brett. So Samuel is played by Harry Dean Stanton. Really good. Next is we have Thomas Kane, who's played by John Hurt. We also have Dennis Parker. Now I might butcher his name, but he's played by Yaphet Kotto or Yaphet Kotto. Really cool. And lastly is we have Arthur Dallas, who's played by Tom Skerritt. Probably out of all these characters, my favorite would be Thomas Kane. Solely for the fact we're gonna find out why he's my favorite. Because he did something that became a staple in the series, in the movie franchise. So these people are woken up because they received this stress signal. So they think there's an SOS. So somebody is sending like, "Hey, we need help. Come down here. We need somebody to come rescue us." So they're kind of like, "Hey, we got this. It woke us up. What should we do?" And then some of the people are kind of like, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go and check it out. We shouldn't." But apparently, it says in their contract that they can't get money. They can't get their salary. They can't get their commission. I don't know what it's called, but they can't get the money if they don't check out the signal, because it states there in their contract that whenever there's like a distress signal, or whenever there's like a sign of human life or intelligent alien life, they have to go check it out. So with no choice, they go and check it out. So they go to this planet, right? They land on this planet, and the planet is really, really dark, and it's full of clouds, and it's very gaseous. And so so there's six of them, right, in the crew. Three of them go out and check out this thing, because they saw like a really big ship on it. Like they saw this thing that's a really, really big ship. So if you look here in the middle, there's like a big like a thing that's like that. That's the ship that they have to check out. So this scene is actually really cool, because in this whole scene sequence, you see them wear these spacesuits, right? And I'll talk more about that later. But also, this is actually the scene where we get introduced to their names. So not all of their names, but the main character's name, Ripley, that is the first time they mention her name. And I'm like, oh, her name is Ripley. Why is it Ripley? And then further research, I find out that her actual name is Ellen, and people just call her Ripley because that's what adults do. They call other people by their last names. So, yeah. This is about like 20 minutes into the film, which is really, really weird, because you would think that that the future or sorry, the future, because Tirso said something about the future. You would think because like in a movie they would introduce like a bunch of the characters, but no, like I've noticed that with films like a little older, like the characters don't get introduced right away. So there. When they do go inside the ship, so over here, they do check out the inside of the ship. It's really cool. The set is very beautiful. I don't know, like I tell you now, if you haven't seen Alien yet, go watch it and then pay attention to the set design because it's really really cool. So here we have like it looks very shiny. It looks very organic. Like it feels like skin. You know, like the material looks like skin. So here in this next scene that I'm about to show you is the thing that they find inside the ship. So there's this dead corpse here in the middle of this like telescope thing or Gatling gun. I don't know what that is, but this is like a huge dead alien. And there seems to be a hole in its chest. Huh. Why? We'll find out later. They actually did this scene. They shot this scene to like the way that they made it look so big is because these if you look over here, hold on. I think it's time for me to show my my cursor, my magic cursor. Here you go. So if you look over here, you will see three people over here. So this is I believe it was Dallas, Kane, and Parker who came out here, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was them. So the reason why they made this set look so big is because the people in these suits are children. So they got the children of the director to wear like little versions of the suits, and then they had them act it out in this set. So that's why it looks really big. And I think that's a really really cool way of going about with this effect. So when they discovered the ship, the inside of the ship, they find a hole, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we should check out this hole." Now, like, if you think about it, it's a horror film, and that deserves like a huge fart. Hold on, that deserves a fart because it's probably like it feels like a stupid thing, right? Like, hey, there's this weird hole down here. Should we go check it out? Yes. But the way that they made this part very justifiable because they have to check out the thing. So I feel like it makes sense for them to check it out. So for me, in this film, that stupid action didn't feel very stupid. It felt very valid. So yeah, they were able to justify it. So they go down the hole, and apparently around this time we cut back to Ellen Ripley, and she's like, "Hey, the distress signal is actually deciphering is being deciphered, and it feels like this is not an SOS, but rather a warning to not go near this planet." So, uh-oh. Oh my god. Scary. So, we cut back to Kane. So Kane goes and checks out the hole, and when he goes down, you see him like walk in this like mist thing. So the way that they did this effect is they had like a smoke machine, right? And they had like a laser, like a light laser. Well, laser is light, but like they had this like laser contraption thing to like make it go whoosh. So there's like a certain point where it's just laser, and then the smoke really adds to the effect that it feels like a force field that they need to enter, or something like an incubation thing. So I don't know, it's just a really cool effect. So the guy, Kane, this is Kane, he goes and slips, and then he ends up like going near the one of like the thing, right? So here, oh, oops, that's, oh, I thought I had a shot of the eggs. But anyway, he goes and he finds like a bunch of eggs, like all of the, like, oh my god, it's like eggs, oh, or it looks like eggs, but he doesn't know that it's eggs. So he's like, ooh, what is this weird thing? And then he goes and touches one of the things, and then it opens. It goes whoosh, which was really cool, by the way. I don't know how they did that, and I would love to find out how they did that. Because the way the inside of the egg looks really wet and slimy, and it feels very disgusting, and it's such a cool effect. So the egg opens, and then here's the stupid thing. Here's the biggest stupid thing, which deserves a huge, huge fart. Whenever a horror movie character does something stupid, we play a fart. Okay, so it opens, and then he does the most stupidest thing, and he looks over the egg. So the egg is like burst open, right, like that, and then he goes, "Ooh, what is this?" And then something jumps out and attacks his face. And whenever something like that happens, I would immediately assume that the person is dead. So, if I was in this scenario, I was like not Kane, but I was like probably Dallas or Parker. I would be like, hey, Kane hasn't come back in a while. I think he's dead. So let's just probably like bury him or something, and then we're good. Like, let's just go. I feel like we should do that. But no. They did another stupid idea, and when Parker and Dallas go and find that Kane has been attacked by something, they go and grab him, and they take him back to the ship. So at this point, Ellen Ripley finds out what's happened, and she's like, "Hey guys, we shouldn't do this because, we are breaking quarantine. He's come into contact with something that's potentially dangerous, and he's in coma. So we should just like not let him through. We can leave him outside, and we can like check back like a few moments when, like, if he's okay or not. We wait a day." Because that was the protocol. Whenever something like that happens, they have to wait. They have to let him quarantine for like a whole day. But Ash, who is the science officer, which was the first red flag of the film, because he opens the door to let all three of them in. So now, Kane, who was attacked by this thing, is in outside the ship. So they go and dissect. They go and remove him out of his clothes, Kane, and they put him down on the medical table. And we find out that actually Kane has this weird alien thing attached to his face. I don't think this is Kane, because I took this photo from Google. I think this is Ripley, but this is what it looks like basically. Like the alien has its face right, like it's like covering its face, and the tail is like wrapped around the neck. So it attaches itself to Kane, and like no matter what the guys did, this thing would not come off the face. And this alien creature, or part of, or evolution of growth cycle of the alien, is they call this the face hugger, because obviously it hugs the face. So looking through IMDb, so I researched it in IMDb, and there's like a part in IMDb where they give like, oh, here are the facts of the film. So I found out that the face hugger was actually meant to be green. So like it was meant to be like more greenish in tint, but they decided to go with this color because it looked very much like skin, and it just the effect of it feels very eerie and very gross and very creepy. So they decided to go with this color, and honestly, iconic. I love that. So they do try to cut the face hugger in its like joints. In one of the joints, they try to cut it off to make it to like pry it open. But what happened was blood the blood of the alien spews out, and it turns out that the alien has acid blood, because the blood of the alien goes right through the floor and it melts everything. I like this one. I'm doing a special mention of this part because the effect, the way that they made this effect was they put like a mixture of, they used styrofoam for the floor, and then they used acetone and a bunch of other chemicals to make it melt. Because when you put acetone on styrofoam, it melts it. So I just think it's a really cool effect. Like, I'm pretty sure you've noticed that I have been very fascinated with how they made things in this film, because while CGI is very cool and like, wow, like the things that CGI can do is actually really awesome, back then they didn't have that. And so they had to rely on like practical effects, and they had to think up of ways to make to give that effect through the means of, what do we have now? What are the things that we can buy to make acid that will go through the floor? So I just think it's really cool and fascinating that that they did this. Plus, they made it look realistic. So it's really, really cool. So there you go. After this whole incident, they find out that the blood is acid. Ripley goes and confronts the science officer, who is Ash, and Ripley is like, hey, like, dude, like, whenever the captain is not here, even if the captain said to let us in, do not let them in, because I am in charge. I am the second person in charge. and uh like uh the Ash kind of goes, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot that part." And then she was like, "But there is this rule about quarantine. Uh, why did you forget that?" And then Ash was like, "No, I didn't forget that. So, I actually made the conscious decision of opening the door for them to come in. And now look what has happened. We have an alien with acid blood in our ship, and it's face hugging one of our crew members who is better off dead. Actually, just he's better off dead, honestly. So, this part is really important because later in the story we have like a revelation about the science officer, and it's sort of like foreshadowing everything. So they go back to Kane and they find that the face hugger is gone. Hello? The face hugger is gone. He is not there anymore. Again, another stupid decision. So, um, uh, the face hugger is gone, and they look everywhere, and then they find the face hugger in the ceiling, and then there's sort of like a jump scare, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Jump scare, and um, uh, we also find out here in this scene that Ash, like Ripley, does not trust Ash. So again, this will come back. This is a foreshadowing. So she's like, "Hey, I don't trust this guy. Like something's weird with him. Something's off with him." So with the face hugger gone, when the face hugger appears from the ceiling, it's actually dead by then. So they're like, "Oh, okay, it died. We should just okay. I think we're good now. So let's just leave the planet." So they leave the planet, which is another stupid decision because they didn't leave Kane behind. They should have left Kane behind because now there is a Kane in the ship, a contaminated Kane. And Kane, the guy wakes up and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's alive." That was really weird. He got face hugged and then he went into coma and then he's back alive. So Kane, being a guy, a dude, I guess, um, he's like, "Oh guys, let's have dinner." So they go and have dinner. There you go. They have dinner, and honestly, this is one of the most iconic scenes of the film. It's so, again, I said earlier that Kane was one of the reasons, was the catalyst for this iconic trope of the films, because he started it. So here he actually, so they're eating, right, and then all of a sudden Kane doesn't feel well. He's like, "Is there something?" And then he starts coughing, and then he starts convulsing onto the table, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is happening?" And then all of a sudden, boom, something goes out of his chest. So I don't want to show it yet because like there's blood, and I feel like I'll get flagged by Twitch if I show blood. So I showed this scene right before it bursts open. So basically, there is this thing. There is something in its chest, and it's gonna go bloop bloop bloop. It's gonna go out, and then there's blood that's gonna splatter everywhere, and and the reactions in the film were actually genuine because they did not know that blood was gonna come out during. They knew what was gonna happen, but they didn't know that blood was gonna splatter out. And the director did that on purpose as to get the genuine reactions of the cast. So the chest bursts open and there's blood that's splattering, and then Joan Lambert, played by Veronica Cartwright, is like, she panics. She's like, "Oh my god!" She's like that, and on it, it's like I love that reaction. So the something bursts out of Kane's chest, and we have a penis alien. A penis alien. It looks like a penis, and it's a little baby, and it's weird. So this is Kane's chest over here, and this is the alien. This is the penis alien, and that's bursted out. So it really fun. I like that. I like this shot. The reason why it looks so disgusting, Quinn, the reason why it looks so disgusting is because they used a mixture of animal guts and animal blood. Apparently, during the shooting of this scene, it was really, really smelly. And people just like needed to take breaks, and they were like, "Oh my god, I feel nauseous. I don't like this." But it stunk. Did you have to say that? What? The penis alien? Penis alien. Penis alien. A round of applause for the penis alien. so we are now at the turning point of the film. Okay? So this is the end of part 1 of the film, because we stop having to run away from the things that are happening to us, and now we are now forced to confront the horrors, because this penis alien runs away and disappears. And so they were like, we have to kill this alien because we are on a trip back to Earth, and we cannot bring this alien back to Earth. So now they have to go and kill it. With that, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about what happens in part 2. Also, by the way, you guys, I'm reminding y'all to come and answer the question here. Let me pull it back up. Here you go. So if you haven't yet, we have a question over here. I will try to read all of the answers at the end of the show. But for you, what does the future look like? So what does the future look like for you? Give your answers in the comments. Give your answers in chat. And then just like... you don't have to answer now. You can think about it. So while we're doing this show, you can think about your answer, and then just give your answer in chat. And then at the end of the show, we will read your thoughts and we'll react to it. So we will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second part of this show. So I hope you guys, you know what? I'll take this time to read the comments, to read the chat. Right, because I think this is a good part to like take a break. Okay, so hold on. We need like music beds for the second episode. I hope we can have music beds. So, I'm gonna skip the answers that you guys have, the answers to the questions, because we'll read that at the end of the show. I'm on a bus ride. Denryu's on a bus ride home, and he's listening to the audio for the most part. Thank you so much for listening. This will be a podcast, so if you are if you miss these episodes, the video versions will be posted on YouTube, and also the podcast versions will be released on Spotify. So whoa, you get to listen to it. Den Mother walks into a facehugger. Nice. Nice. Love that for you. And the corporations in Alien are too real. Oh my god. So, aside from the threat of the alien, you have the other threat, which is capitalism. That is also a legit threat in the movie, in the movie franchise. The alien xenomorph is one of those movie monsters that triggers one of my primal fears. This is gonna be so fun to listen to. The alien looks like a penis, kind of hot. Oh, let's just say, then you haven't. There's a reason you haven't actually watched the movie yet, and I'm guessing it's the xenomorph. But the xenomorph is kind of hot. I'm just saying. Quinn says disgusting. Yeah, yeah. I understand why you did. Are you planning on doing this show with guests? Yes, we do have guests on the show. We have some guests booked, and I cannot wait to tell you about our guests in the future. I was listening to farts at work, actually. Oh, thank you so much for listening to farts. That's so cool. Thank you so much. All right, let's come back to the story of the film. So, if you weren't invested in the story just yet, like at the first part, then I invite you to be invested now, because we are about to see one of the most badass people in any horror film about to do their thing. And that person is Ellen Ripley. So the crew splits into groups of 3. So Ripley's team, so Ripley, God. So it's split between Ripley and Dallas, right? And then I forgot who the other 2 people underneath are, but basically, Ripley and her 2 people, they go and look for like the alien, and then they end up finding the cat, Jonesy. We have a cute little cat over here. Their name is Jonesy, and they are sort of like the resident caretaker. I don't understand why Jonesy wasn't in the ice sleep cryo thing when they woke up. I guess Jonesy was a late addition to the film. This is like a plot hole. Like, where was Jonesy when like while they were all asleep, and who fed Jonesy if she was like walking around? So they find Jonesy, right? And then Brett goes somewhere, and then he finds the skin of the little alien penis, the little penis alien. So he's like, huh, what is this? This is weird. And then we find out that the little penis alien is not a little penis alien anymore. It's a big penis alien. And sad to say, Brett is the second death of the film. So R.I.P. Brett, bye-bye. So they find out what happened, and they're like, oh my god, he died. We need to hatch a plan, because this alien is gonna kill us one by one. We need to not confront the alien like directly, but rather we need to find a way to get this alien out of this ship without actually like touching the alien, because we'll die. And then they decided to corner the alien into one part of the ship and blast this alien out using the airlock. So they're like, okay, we have a motion tracker, and it's a piece of technology that looks really, really cool. It's really 80s. It's just a grid with a dot, and then it like beep, beep, beep. It's really cool. If you've played Alien Isolation, then those motion trackers are really, really awesome. So the plan is to corner the alien and then use the air vents to shoot it out into space. Um, Ripley, being a smart person, decides to or volunteers to face the alien, which is if that was me, I would not do that. That would not be me. So it was really stupid. So that's a stupid decision. But ultimately, Dallas is the one who steps up because he's like a macho man, and he's like, okay, I will do it. Which Ripley says, okay, sure, go ahead. Which was a very smart decision, but very dumb on Dallas's part. So now Dallas will hunt the alien and use a flamethrower to drive it away, because their logic was any living organism is afraid of fire. So that was their reasoning, and rightly so. Fire is painful and it's hot. So Dallas has a flamethrower now, and he's crawling through the vents, and he finally like gets near the alien. Like the alien is like there, and then everything just like stops for a minute, and then all of a sudden we get an alien jump scare through the light, because the alien just like shows up, and then he does this little. I think it's cute. It's really funny. Here, I'll show you. He goes, ta-da! So look at it. And ta-da! So the alien does that, and I just laughed at this part. It was supposed to be like a scary thing, but looking at it, I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. So they find out that Dallas. So like after that, we don't know what happens to Dallas just yet. When Parker or Ripley goes to where Dallas was, they find that Dallas is gone, and that there's like the flamethrower is just on the floor. It was left behind. So here's a rule with horror films: if they don't show a character dying, if they don't show like the gruesome death of a character, then you are safe to assume that that character is still alive. Okay? And we will find out if Dallas is still alive or not later in the film. So, the next scene that follows, everyone is in a panic, right? And everyone's kind of like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? What do we do? Our captain is gone. And then Ellen's like, I am second in command. I am stepping up. So, Ripley asks the science officer, what should they do? And then Ripley kind of like just like is frustrated with everything, because one of them is hysterical, and then the other one wants to fight the alien, which I really love about this scene, because it shows like the different ways that people react to a certain like a horror scenario. So we have Parker up top, who is like, I'm gonna fucking kill the alien. I'm gonna butcher this alien. And then here we have Ellen Ripley. We have Ripley here, who's kind of like, guys, let's just calm down, and then we figure out a solution to this together. I'm trying to think. Let's strategize. So that's Ellen. That's Ripley. And then here we have Ash at the back, who's kind of just like, I'm like sort of nonchalant. And then at at the bottom over here, we have Lambert, who is full on having a panic attack. She's she's like she's like, oh my god, everyone's gonna die. I'm gonna die. I don't know what to do. There's no hope anymore. So, like, I love that all of these characters were able to like showcase the different reactions to a horror scenario, and I want to know, like, feel free, get ready, you guys. I'm about to ask a question. What out of these four people, who would you be if you faced a horror dilemma and or a horrific scenario, and like, let's say an alien is, on the loose on your ship, and you're trying to survive, and it just killed off your leader? How would you react? Would you react like Parker, like Ripley, like Ash, or like Lambert? Personally, I would probably because Tirso, okay, if I'm in a horror scenario, most likely Tirso will be there as well. Tirso would be Lambert. I would be Ripley, because I would be like, girl, chill out. Let's strategize. But that's what I think. I feel like what I actually would be, I would be Parker. I would be I would be the person who would be like, I'm fucking killing this. Like, y'all can't tell me nothing. I am going to annihilate this son of a bitch. So that's probably gonna get me dead. But I feel like that's how I would react. Kyan says I would be crying and shitting. Honestly, valid. I'm a very scared person, but also like, I have to figure this out. I mean, kind of, yeah, that's also kind of like Ripley. I mean, she's also scared. Like, this, what is happening, all of this, but she has to, like, step up and be the leader. So she has to set an example. She has to be like, girl, I have to calm down, relax. Like, I gotta think this through. So, I don't know if you would be Lambert. I don't know if you would be Ripley. Who would you more likely be than Ryu? Yeah. I guess that's the question. So, um, everything is bad here because everyone is slowly dying. They're killing off everyone one by one. My first instinct physically is flight. Oh, my first instinct physically is fight. I I don't know if I learned that from my mom, because my mom is a fighter. But in a face of a horror scenario, I I stand my ground, even if I'm like scared shitless, and then I fight. That's how I was raised. Oh my god, I'm dying first, or dying second in the film. So, um, when Ash is like asking, sorry, when Ripley is asking Ash what to do, and Ash is kind of just like nonchalant. Ripley gets frustrated, and then she's like, "Okay, I'm doing this myself. I'll go and find the answers myself." So she goes to the mother. The mother is like the AI of the ship, and she's like, "Hey, mother," because you don't talk to mother, you type things in, and then mother replies. So she's like, "Hey, mother, like, uh, can I like, how do we kill this alien?" And then the mother's like, "You cannot kill the alien." And then she's like, "Why?" And then mother's like, "Oh, we have orders about this thing." And then she's like, Ripley's like, "What are the orders?" And then the mother's like, "Sorry, I can't tell you. This is just between me and the science officer, who is Ash." And then that's when Ripley's like, "The science officer? Why is it just between you two?" And then she goes and like does some hacking things, and then she overrides the system. And so mother has to tell Ripley what the fuck is going on. Apparently, um the company, which is Weyland Yutani, I'm sorry, but the story's everywhere. So this is just another bit of lore in the Alien franchise. Weyland Yutani is the giant corporation that where Ripley and the crew work for. And she finds out that Wayland Yutani has ordered Mother and Ash to get the alien to Earth so that they could study what the fuck this is. Like, Wayland Yutani does not care what happens to the crew as long as they get the the alien to Earth. So understandably, Ripley gets angry, and Ash is conveniently right next to her during this time, and so she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are these orders?" And then, like, "Why are you being like this? I thought you were one of us. I thought you were a human, and why? Like, I thought you were like." Why are you siding with the corporation? Like, they do not care about us. What are you doing? And she tries to run away, but Ash stops her by closing all the doors and like I think I believe Ripley punches Ash, and then we get a shot of Ash and he's sweating milk. I mean, if you were a human person, would you sweat milk? No. Like, so what is happening? And then Ash goes in to grab her hair and then rips it out with that much force, and he has like a bunch of hair. It's like this much. He has this much hair in his hand. And now we're starting to be like, sweating milk has unbelievable strength. So after that, he kind of like knocks Ripley like sort of unconscious a little, and then for a moment there's like silence, and then he grabs a magazine and then he rolls it up and then he stuffs it in front of her face, like which is a very uncomfortable scene, by the way. And good thing, because the other two people, Lambert and Parker, come into rescue, and there, Parker, Ash and Parker fight, and then Parker goes in to get like a fire extinguisher. I don't know what he got. Maybe, I think it was a baseball bat. And he tries to knock Ash unconscious. But as he hits Ash in the head, his neck rips off. And we find out that Ash was a robot all along. And nobody knew. So this is the reveal that we find out. The whole, hey, I don't trust this guy, and the fact that he's sweating milk, and the fact that he's in cahoots with Mother. So, oh, this is not a person, but rather this is a representative of Weyland Yutani, a corporation. This is just a shell that's following orders. And people, like, honestly, when I first, if I didn't know anything about Alien, I would be shocked by this revelation. Firstly, because his head literally like knocks off his body, so it's kind of a scary scene. But I was like, but at the same time, you're kind of just like, oh my god, all this fucking time he was a robot. That's why he's acting so weird. So they were like, okay, after they like subdue Ash, they prop him up on a table, and then he comes back to life. Oh, so this is him. He's dead. There you go. Smashed to bits. And then they prop him up on the table, and then they bring him back to life. So So we find out here in this scene that the company is really shitty because they were like, dude, why are your orders like why are your orders like that? Like, why is the crew expendable? The crew is like very, very important. So this is a human life. And then Ash is kind of like, well, we want the alien to get to Earth, and we don't care about you. And honestly, very relatable. Like, like, yeah, alien, you are kind of right. The the companies do not care about you. They only care about money, and they only care about the next best thing. If that means like firing you, then by all means, yes. They like these things. These corporations have no empathy or sympathy for people, and honestly, I relate to that. I'm pretty sure you guys relate to that sentiment as well. So, they also find out through Ash that they cannot kill the alien. The alien is a perfect species because the alien lacks remorse or lacks the morality to like he just kills and kills and kills. So Ash kind of thinks that this species is very, very perfect. And you know what? Deserve, because right after this they burn him out of frustration. They're like, this asshole, like he thinks like um uh he thinks that this alien is perfect. No, it's not. It's not perfect. So they kill Ash. Ash is bye bye now. And collectively they all decide to blow up the ship. Okay? So they now are like, okay, we are going to get everything ready. You guys like load the ship with all of the supplies that we have, and then I am going to get Jonesy the cat. So this is Ripley saying this. So Ripley is gonna go and look for the cat because of course we have to save the cat. Eventually Ripley finds Jonesy, right? And he puts him in a container, which is this little box that's really cute. And like I have a little comment about the container for the cat in a while. But first, let's go back to Lambert and Parker. So Lambert is like loading everything up into the ship, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm focused on this." And then through the shadow, we see the alien slowly creeping up on Lambert, and you're kind of like forced to go, "Oh my god, watch out, Lambert! Like, the alien is coming for you." But she has no sense of her surroundings. She is just focused on getting everything into the ship. So when when it was finally too late and the alien is right behind Lambert, Lambert turns around and then she's kind of like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is happening?" Ah! And then Parker, hearing with all the commotion, goes in to save Lambert and sacrifices himself. By the way, which is a stupid move. And so he sacrifices himself, but before he dies, he goes and tells her to run. Now Lambert, being overcome with fear, and she like it's too much for her. she does not do anything. She just stands there, which is also a very stupid decision. So, um, like during that time, I watching it, I was kind of just like, "Oh my god, oh my god, Lambert, run, run! You can still survive this. Please, run, girl, for the love of your life, for the love of your life." I don't think that's the saying. Um, for the love of all things alive and self-preservation, please run. So, um, she doesn't, and they both end up dead. So, R.I.P. Parker and R.I.P. Lambert. So, it's kind of sad. So Ripley finds out that both of them are dead, right? And then she's like, "Oh my god, I have to do everything on my own." So she sets up the emergency self-destruct system, and the emergency uh the thing goes like, "Hey, we will be self-destructing in 10 minutes." So meanwhile, while Ripley is like panicking to set everything up, Jonesy is just Jonesy is just in his uh little box, like just chill. He's just sitting there all chill. And here's where I feel bad for Jonesy at this part, because it is now a race against the clock, because Ripley has to get to the the shuttle, the escape shuttle, but she can't because the alien is stalking her, like it's blocking her way. So she's like, "Fuck, I can't get to the ship. The alien is there." And so she tries to stop the ship from detonating. She's like, "Okay, I'll go back to the place where I set up the emergency blow up thing." And it turns out she was too late by like just 1 second. She could not deactivate the self-destruct system. So now she has 5 minutes left. So she's like, "Oh my god." And then she's like running around. She's like running around, and then she has like Jonesy in a box, right? So pretend this is the box for Jonesy, and then she's just kind of like running like this. She's like running like that. I feel bad. I feel so bad for the cat, because I imagine the cat is just kind of like, meow, meow. It's just it's like, because but I understand. I understand. She's in a panic. She's like in panic mode. But at the same time, I feel so bad for the cat. And also, they need to put weight in that box, because the box felt like there was nothing in it. It was just like literally like, it was like that. If you've seen the film and you don't remember this part, go watch it back and then look at the scenes where where Ripley has the box for the cat, and notice how the box moves, because there is no way nobody put any weight in there. And then I feel so bad, like if the cat was actually in there, the way that she moved that box is really really scary. I feel so bad. So we find out that it's too late. Disable the she can't disable the self-destructing. So she kind of does a line that will also be a staple in the next film, or like they bring this back in the next film, where she goes, "You bitch," and then she's kind of just like angry and all that. So eventually she makes it to the ship and she's safe, right? So hooray, there you go. She's all good, and she launches the shuttle away from the ship, from Nostromo, and Nostromo explodes. It detonates, and like you kind of get a shot where the ship just blows up, right? Which is really cool. So, um, all is good. All she is away from the danger. And so she's kind of just like, hey, I'm going to go back and go cryo sleep again. And then hopefully somebody will pick me up, um, uh, like on the way to Earth and then take this back to Earth, right? So she gets ready to freeze herself again, but then there is something in the shuttle with her. I don't know. If you look at this photo over here, I want you to see. I want you to think. What is wrong with this photo? I'll give you guys 10 seconds. You don't have to chat it. You don't have to answer in chat. Just think about it. Look at the photo and then see what is so weird about here. Okay. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The fucking alien is right here. It's right here. Right there. You see that? That is the alien. All like embryo hugging itself into the wall, blending in. So actually, this trope does happen more in the director's cut. Like there are some scenes where you pass by and you actually see the alien in the background just like chilling and then looking, or like just like staying very still and just chilling, which is a really cool concept that the alien does that. But for this film, I actually prefer the theatrical release because this is the only shot that they used where you could see the alien in the background, and I feel like it's more effective that way because you're kind of just like, you're more surprised that, oh my god, this actually happened. Like, damn, all right, it's really scary. This is the only time it's gonna happen. But in the director's cut, there's actually another scene where the alien is in the background. So honestly prefer the theatrical release. So there. So Ripley, finding out that there's an alien, she goes and hides into like the space suit thing, and she hides there. Apparently the alien knew that the ship was gonna self-destruct, and so it snuck in with her into the shuttle. And honestly, really smart alien. And then here we have the final battle with the alien that happens. So Ripley puts on the spacesuit and then starts singing a song from Singing in the Rain. Like another fun fact about this is the first and only pop culture reference in an alien film. So there you go. And she wakes the alien up, and the stupid alien goes and stalks her because now Ripley is kind of like, I know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I have a plan and I'm gonna execute this plan. And then the alien's just kind of like, oh, I'm falling into the plan. I am following what Ripley has in mind. So when the time was right, with Ripley in her spacesuit, she opens the airlock and let the power of the space vacuum suck the alien out of the ship. So the alien, she has a grapple hook gun, and then she shoots the grapple hook towards the alien, and the alien's kind of like, and then like he like launches into space. He launches into space, but the alien is a clingy motherfucker, and starts, because like he got grappled, there's a rope, and then like he grabs onto the rope, and then he pulls himself back into the ship, but Ripley was not having it because Ripley like quickly goes into the ship's thrusters, the booster stuff the thing that propels the ship to move forward, and then she turns it on, which eventually launches the alien out into space, forever dooming that alien in the vacuum of space. So with the alien defeated, the alien is finally gone. The threat is finished, and Ellen and Ripley decides to record a message that we see in the game Alien Isolation. Finally, the movie ends with Ripley going back to cryo sleep. That's Jonesy in her arms. So she's hugging the cat. The cat is also asleep, and she goes into cryo sleep, and all is well in Alien, the first movie. Everything is good until the second movie, and then that's where more things start to happen. So there you go. That is it for Alien. I keep saying Alien Isolation when it's really just Alien. And that's it for Alien. Honestly, I love this movie. Like, the practical effects were really good. And then the way that they shot the film was honestly also really fun. I love that they used, looking at it from a filmmaking perspective, like looking at it like the creative decisions that they made. So during this time, or around this time, The Shining was a really popular film already. And so a lot of people were kind of like, oh, how do we... Because I don't know if you guys know, but The Shining is what started the trend for Steadicam. So, like, just tracking shots where the camera isn't like being shaky, but like it's like moving really steadily. So that started, or that became popular because of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining film. So during this time, a lot of the movies are already using Steadicams. With Alien, they decided to go a more handheld approach. So the shots felt more shaky. Less it was less robotic and more organic, and honestly that made the movie scarier, which was really cool. One thing though, with this film is that the jump scares were a product of its time. Like, it's pretty obvious that this film was made in the 80s if you look at the jump scares. But otherwise, everything else was really, really good. Okay. Now, those are my thoughts for Alien. For Alien. And we go back to your question. What does the future look like for you? So, I have here a bunch of your answers. First off, it's Denryu. Hi, Denryu. He says, the future might not look all too different from now, but there'll be a fundamental change in how we use technology that is indistinguishable, indistinguishable, indistinguishable. I don't know how to say this word. Oh my god. From how we do it now. I agree with that. I feel like this is a very yeah, it's a very grounded answer. Like, I can see that happening. Like, we phones might be different in the future, but we still have phones. Computers will be very different in the future, but we still have computers. It'll still be a desktop. We have laptops. We've got other things. Honestly, that's really cool. I can see it. I can see it. Then Mother Plays says, very dystopian. Have you seen the news? the economy. It's almost like the Alien with the colonists and space truckers. Honestly, honestly, I can also see this very dystopian. Very dystopian. We've got wars going on, so things are just gonna get worse. Not to bring down everybody in the audience, like in chat. I don't want to bring down anybody, but yeah, it looks very dystopian right now. We've got weird things happening, like I'm sure it's like a good thing. Like not a good thing, but like it's an innovative thing that like some people are using memes to boost their their popularity with the citizens of a country. So they're using memes as a way as for their campaign. Like that feels very dystopian, but at the same time you're kind of like, oh, that is actually kind of smart. Tirso says, I think the future would look more and more steampunk slash apocalyptic with how climate change is going, it don't look too good. Yeah, yeah. People are calling for climate reforms. Every day it's getting more and more hot. Eventually, we will now see like a Mad Max style future. Yeah, can see that as well. Quinn Cyrene Che says, apocalyptic. We're already getting a lot of calamities, and I feel like with global warming, we're approaching really bad levels. Yeah, wow. You guys have a really, aside from Denryu, everyone has a really bleak vision of the future. My vision of the future is flying cars and hoverboards. You guys are like, oh, everything's gonna be apocalyptic. But I can understand that with how things are going. I mean, it feels like we're going in that direction unless something happens. So now it is time to review the movie. So we are going to score this film based off of a criteria of 4 things. So these 4 things I find to be very important in a horror film. They need to have these elements in order to be a horror film. So we have the story, the camp, the action, and the terror. This gives us SCAT or SCAT. Now, for those who don't know what SCAT is, don't Google it. But we have the story. So for the story, how compelling was the narrative? For camp was the movie over the top? For action, was this film action-packed? And with terror, we rate how scary was the film. And for today, we are going to be rating this film out of 5 xenomorphs. So, for story, and there's the title drop. For story, I would rate the story a 4 xenomorphs out of 5. So for me, the story was good. I love that it was easily understandable and that I could follow the narrative really well. What would make it a 5 for me, though, would be to have the characters be introduced with some more importance. I feel like in the film, they kind of just brushed over the names of the characters, and the way that they introduced them, I don't feel very related. Like the characters don't feel very relatable. So, having them die was less of an investment, for me, or less of a loss for me, because I didn't feel invested in the characters per se, except for Ellen Ripley. So 1, 2, 3, 4 xenomorphs out of 5. For camp, I rate this 4 out of 5 as well. The movie was very camp. Like the practical effects are very camp, and I love that. So 4 out of 5. For action, this was the highest score that I rated, and I would rate it a 5 out of 5 xenomorphs. The movie was really action packed, especially the second part of the film. In the first part, we get the chest bursting scenes, all the gore, really really good. I love it. So a 5 out of 5. Like if you love a film where people are running around and like are moving, I would suggest this film as well because there's a lot of movement going on. And for terror, I would rate Alien a 3 out of 5 xenomorphs. I love this film, don't get me wrong, but the horror aspects of it, like the jump scares, like the way that they try to scare people, it's a product of its time. Like you can obviously see, like there's one where the little baby penis alien thing like runs away, and it looks very much like a remote control race car, and then they just let it move forward. Like it looks like that. There's also one part where like the jump scares are also very it's like an old film. Like it's obvious that it's an old film when you see the jump scares. So yeah, like the jump scares, the horror elements are a product of its time, and that's why I rate it a 3 out of 5. I did enjoy this film though, but for me, the movie wasn't that scary. So that is it for the ratings. We have story 4 out of 5, camp 4 out of 5, action 5 out of 5, and terror 3 out of 5. And that is it for the scare tapes. Oh my god. I hope you guys enjoyed the very first episode. Don't go anywhere yet though. We are not done because we are now going to find out what the next movie is. I want you guys to watch this. Fuck. Wait. Fuck. Damn it. Why isn't it working? Hello? Hello? Oh! Oops. I meant that. Okay, I want you guys to watch this. There you go.
On Halloween night, 1977, America gathered around for a live TV event that shocked a nation. What happened was real. What you are about to see is the recently discovered master tape of what went to air that night.
We have Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, now, here's Mr. Mitch Jack
Late Night with the Devil.
Yes, that is right. On August 23, the fourth Friday of the month, we are going to be doing a Scare Tapes episode on the Late Night with the Devil featuring Fart's host, Ninya. That means I thought, okay, I wanted to say Ninya's full name. It's Nins C. Fernandez. So we are going to be reviewing Late Night with the Devil with Ninya of Farts podcast. So, really cool. She's our first guest of the show because, the day after that, we have the Farts, 5th season coming out during that time. So we are gonna go live with Ninya on August 23, and we're going to talk about Late Night with the Devil. So, if you guys want to not be spoiled with the film, you best go and watch the film now, and let us know what you think of the film during the scare tapes episode. And that is it. Finally, we are done with the very first episode of the scare tapes. I hope you guys enjoyed today, and it's time to do the outro. It's time to end this show. Oh, season 5 has already been recorded. Season 5 is still being recorded, but it needs to be edited. Alright, you guys. Thank you so much for coming down to watching the scare tapes, the very, very first episode of the scare tapes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We are going to have the episodes released on Spotify and on YouTube. So watch out for those. Watch out for the announcement on those. And hopefully you will like it when it does come out. It will be a little bit edited, so it's not gonna have all of the parts. But if you want to have the full experience of the scare tapes, you have to catch it live every second and fourth Thursday, every second and fourth Friday of the month. So if you would like to follow me on all my socials, I've got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. Go ahead, give it a follow, and you get to see announcements for new shows or new episodes of the scare tapes. I will be posting it on all my socials there. I also have a podcast. It's called the Frightening, Alarming Real Life Tale Show. It's the mother podcast it's the mother show of the scare tapes. So if you would like to see how why are we doing this, go listen to Farts. If you would like to support further, we have a sister show called Behind You. You can watch it on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. So really cool. Hopefully you guys go watch that. It's a pride and joy of mine, and I love it so much. Anyway, you guys, I will see everybody on Sunday for another stream. Bye!